Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's great to see you. It's great to see my colleagues. Mr. Chairman, we've all had plenty of time to talk to our constituents over the last 2 weeks, to get out into our communities and take stock of the challenges facing America. And yet, out of all the issues in the world, House Republicans decided that on our very first day back, our very first bill would be a trans-bullying bill. More division, more extremism, more MAGA culture wars. You know, when I was home in Massachusetts, this issue didn't come up at all. Not a single person brought this issue up to me. Republicans are obsessed with attacking and bullying trans people. It's cruel. Frankly, it's creepy. And it's a really rotten thing to do. I'm sick and tired of the other side picking on vulnerable populations. Enough already. Some say this bill is about keeping kids safe, so let's talk about safety. Nothing kills more kids in America than gun violence. 20 students at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown. 17 students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. 19 students at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. Most recently, 3 9-year-olds at the Covenant School in Nashville. And just this weekend, another 4 kids at a Sweet 16 birthday party in Alabama. Gun violence is the leading cause of death for children and teens, more than car crashes, more than cancer. Kids and parents are terrified their school will be next. And Republicans are worried about deciding who can be on the track team. I mean, give me a break. Is this some kind of sick joke? What's next? A bill about who can play together during recess? You know, I hear my colleagues talk a lot about the weaponizing of the federal government. So let's talk about weaponizing the federal government. We are advancing a bill here that literally empowers the federal government to reach into local soccer teams and kick individuals off. Apparently, the GOP thinks Congress knows better than the NCAA, better than local school districts, better than parents, better than student athletes, and better than school psychologists who say this bill, and I quote, will significantly harm the mental health of transgender students. Sounds like a lot of weaponization to me. Nothing in this legislation ensures that sports will be more fair or more safe. In fact, and I have to say again, this bill is just creepy. Enforcing it may require that girls and young women answer personal questions about their menstrual cycle and physical development. Female student athletes could even be subjected to inspection by adults who they may not even know, as young as in their preteen years. So that's what we're debating here today, whether or not young kids should have to get their genitals inspected or else they get kicked off the swim team. As a parent who had 2 kids play middle school and high school sports, I am disgusted. I'm disgusted by the real-world consequences of this bill. If signed into law, it would lead to increased hate against trans kids. It would lead to suicide, all because Republican leadership is obsessed with pushing their creepy MAGA culture wars onto our kids. The bottom line is this bill should not come to the House floor. And then we have H.J. Res 42, yet another law about Washington, D.C. I just have to ask, why are Republicans so obsessed with Washington? Why don't they pass laws that help the rest of the country, that help their own districts? If they're so obsessed with the D.C. City Council, why don't you run for D.C. City Council? Instead, the self-proclaimed party of local government wants to overrule 13 democratically elected local city councilors and D.C.'s 700,000 voters in another massive power grab. And by the way, if you want to combat crime, I advise my Republican friends to look in the mirror. Speaker McCarthy's hometown of Bakersfield is the 4th most dangerous place to live in the United States of America. This bill would ease up on officers with misconduct records, make it more difficult for the public to view body cam footage, allow police to use chokeholds and other deadly uses of force, even in cases where it's not absolutely necessary. This has nothing to do with fighting crime. House Republicans are getting rid of important transparency and safety measures in a city they weren't even elected to represent. So give me a break. Out of all the problems that our constituents are facing right now, these are the issues on the House Republicans' agenda: meddling with D.C. laws and bullying trans kids. Meanwhile, House Democrats and President Biden are working to improve the everyday lives of Americans, to enhance public safety, to protect kids, to cut inflation, lower costs for families, support workers, and safeguard Social Security and Medicare. 60% of Americans disapprove of how Republicans in Congress are handling their job 100 days in. And if you look at the bills we are considering here today, it is no wonder why. There's plenty for me to say, and I anticipate a lengthy back and forth today. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I will yield back.